to an Orion rant that touches upon a point I've made since 2011 about it's not whether one likes or dislikes a certain movie, but rather the arguments and the why of the opinion that truly matters. I'd like to give a shout out to Ace DeviantArt user VixDojoFox for inspiring me to make this desperately needed video. This video is about my scout mindset flavored objections to the Lion King franchise, which is the issue of animal stereotype and how there are serious consequences for giving certain animal species bad reputations. Before The Lion King came out and when it was being advertised beforehand, I initially had sneaky feelings against the then upcoming Disney film, in part for its vilification of hyenas, though I was not yet aware of actual hyena researchers' objections to the movie. However, when I saw The Lion King in theaters, I turned against hyenas for 13 years and a few months due to them being mean to Timon in that movie, which was corrected by a couple of Animal Planet documentaries regarding hyenas that I saw in November 2007. Starting in the last 2 months of 2007, I've been digging deeper and doing research on how hyenas got such a bad reputation that was ballooned by The Lion King, and even learned that a few hyena researchers even begged the animators to portray the animals more positively. However, Disney broke their promise to portray hyenas fairly, and one hyena researcher tried to sue Disney for defamation of hyenas, while another called for a boycott of The Lion King in hopes of helping hyena conservation. When one couldn't think that it could get worse when it comes to The Lion King's heavy animal stereotype, we got a bombshell in the mid to late 2010s in the form of the Lion Guard, or should I say the Starvation Guard, starring Simba's son Kion and his goons who make up the titular group of bullies. The Starvation Guard takes animal stereotype to a whole new level, from a mere toxic staple that permeates throughout, as with the 1994 original Lion King movie, to being the downright centerpiece, iconically repeated throughout the show. Kion uses the iconic roar of the elders in the climax of most episodes, in which a cloud with lion heads produces very powerful winds that lift away the targeted animals and send them off from the bountiful pride lands to the barren outlands for no other reason than to starve and dehydrate. This off-the-charts animal stereotype factors into the Starvation Guard, in that aside from lions, all you need to know to tell who is a good guy or a bad guy is the species each character belongs to. Take a look at the army of Scar, which has crocodiles, jackals, snakes, vultures, scorpions, and hyenas, and later Machucha's army with leopards, porcupines, binturongs, and Komodo dragons for evidence of just how steep the animal stereotype runs throughout the show. The saturation of animal stereotype in the Lion King franchise isn't harmless, and it influences fans of the franchise to get harmful wrong opinions about certain species and thus refuse conservation for such maligned wild animals. Not only does it get in the way of conservation for species with bad reputation, but it can lead to bullying behaviors that hurt other human beings just for daring to defend such persecuted animals. For example, DeviantArt user WhereTunes101 commented about how some toxic Lion King fans treat the film as like a religion, to the point that they harass, bully, and bandwagon against anyone who dares to like and defend hyenas, all because their sacred animated movie taught them how to hate that species. Hyenas are not the dumb ecological devastators that the Lion King paints them out to be, and instead very essential for African ecosystems and possessing primate-level intelligence that even rivals that of chimpanzees. Just because an animal species is dangerous or looks scary to most people doesn't mean that they're evil nor deserving of such persecution. Luckily, the aforementioned VixDojoFox is working on creating her Normbreaker series to undo the very serious animal stereotyping devastation that the Lion King franchise caused, and this has inspired me in part to do the same healing task. In fact, Vix even designed some of her Normbreaker villains to be crude parodies of Lion King characters, mainly Somoza Andreas and his Pride Force team of bullies. I'm working working on my Orion Spark fanfiction story starring a trans feminine MB Coloclawfish named Stevie Serene Eel, which will in part combat animal stereotype as in the Lion King franchise. Another problem with the Lion King is that it also plagiarized a 1960s Japanese animated series called Kimba the White Lion, and add to that the fact that Kimba did not vilify an entire species either, whereas the Lion King sent an entire species to the elephant graveyard just to starve. One reason why Confused Matthew was so dead wrong about the Lion King that his opinion got thoroughly debunked by others with nothing new for me to bring to the table anyway was because he was so oblivious to real serious flaws in the movie while jumping to conclusions about minutia. Unlike what Confused Matthew used to do, VixDojoFox does not take Lion King fans for idiots nor act superior, instead backs up her scorn for the Lion King with valid evidence. For example, I hate the scene in which a Sando Aqua Monster ate a Coloclawfish to save the Bongo via the Force in Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, which has also divided me against myself. However, I still reject any disinformation that uses that scene that I hate as an argument for any bad idea, such as the Rebels vs. Imperials purist fan theory that Jar Jar Binks was somehow evil. Werda Green argued that Fish 4, second Sando Aqua Monster eating Fish 3, Coloclawfish, was somehow proof that Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord. Unlike original trilogy fanboys, I don't say that the Sando Aqua Monster somehow makes a main protagonist it saves automatically bad just because I've hated and been angry at that Leviathan. I recognize that just because something I don't like angers me doesn't mean that it's automatically bad, since though we're entitled to our own opinions, we are never entitled to our own facts and evidence, which is a rule of thumb to which I've sworn fierce allegiance. Only if my bandwagon detractors like Dark Master Rises would take this quote to heart, they wouldn't have messed up my life like they did. The big takeaway here is that if you're going to declare something you dislike or angry at as being objectively bad, then you need to back it up with facts and evidence instead of saying it's bad just because it gets on your nerves or some nostalgic unreality about, say, ruined childhoods. This has been my thoughts about a very serious real problem regarding The Lion King and its 2010 spin-off show, The Lion Guard. So I don't want any Lion King fanboys going to town on me like Dark Master Rises had people do to me in 2013 just because I choose to accept a part of reality that they want to deny.